So I create a new class, and I called it my class. And I import java.utility.scanner. I type faster than computer thinks. What? Scanner is within capital S. And we said scanner keyboard, and then say keyboard new scanner systems.in. And I have an int. Let's put the int up here. Move it up here. Your age. And then system.out and I say enter. I was just printing. See, I just type the dot and all these methods show up for me, and I just have to double click on the one I need. And if I start typing system, I press dot, the out is there, see? I can just press that one, then dot again, and then see all the methods that are available for me. I'm just going to use the print line, and I said your age is plus your age plus years old. And I wish there was a way to zoom this. Alright, so if I run this, I'm going to compile down here. Alright, let's just save it, sure. And it compiles it, and then it says enter your age. Well, I actually tried like 8:15, so that's what you're supposed to get, right?
Yeah, there's a problem. It says your age is 21 years, but then like there's no space.
Because we didn't put a space between the double quotes and the. Alright, so let's say I enter 65. Because I want to retire. So there's a age limit before you can get your retirement benefits. Like you can put money for your 401k, and if you get the money before you reach a certain age, you have to pay taxes on it and stuff like that. So I'm going to introduce you to something called conditional statements. And if you took 119, you might remember this. It's called Uml Diagrams. You remember what Uml diagram is? No? Alright, so we call this UML. That's too small. Alright. The computer is busy recording everything at the same time. I'm trying to record my screen. Alright, so UML says I have this two things. The beginning, let's just take it off. And put another one here. And it says, that's where my program starts, my program ends. It's not perfect, but there you go. And do you remember this from 119?
Yeah.
Alright, so I have this box that I declare variables. And then I have this tilted box that does the user input. Should I use Word instead? Alright, that's close enough, right? Oops. Well, something like that. That's close enough. So this is input output, right? That symbol. And there was another symbol that looks like a diamond. Remember what's that called? That looks like that.
Oh, that was for the decision making, right?
Yeah, that was the decision maker. And then we join this with arrows, right?
Yeah, connectors.
Yeah. So this connectors, and then this one was like here.
And then you go down.
Yeah. I'm gonna just do it like this, okay? And then we say, we ask a question there, and then if the answer was yes, do something here, right?
Yeah, if it's yes, it's true or false.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say true. And here I'm gonna make no or false.
If it's no, then it stops, and then if it's true, it goes like back up, right, in a loop.
No, that's a loop.
Oh, that's a loop.
So here we declare a variable type int. Type int, we call it your age. Well, actually, it was supposed to be like this, right? The proper was like this, and then colon and yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then the tilted was input or output, so we're gonna ask your age here again. So we input your age, right? And then here we're gonna say, are you greater than 65, greater or equal than 65? Question mark. And that's our question. Right? If the answer is yes, we wanna say you can retire. If the answer is no, you say keep working, right? So you can follow that flow chart And there's supposed to be the arrows and all that, but of course I didn't make it look pretty. And right now we have a program that asks the age, but when we ask the age, when we ask this question mark, that's a conditional statement, right? And that has a word. You know what it's called? It's called if statement. So this is an if statement. Let's make it bigger. We can read it. So if. And the if statement in Java is like a method that has parentheses, and inside the parentheses you're gonna put your condition. Okay, so that's how you ask inside parentheses. And the block, if it's true, any block is limited by open and curly brackets. That's how you do it. And let's make him a bigger color. Let's make him that. Same thing with the false. He has open and curly bracket for whatever code goes in the true or false. So this condition is going to execute. The first part is going to be if it's true, but how does it know where the false starts? Besides the curly brackets? Well, it has this keyword that says else. So the actual condition, or actual code, is executed like this. So there's a condition here, and you do something if it's true. Maybe I should make it, maybe move things around here. Should be like this. So that's the actual way it looks in Java. So whatever is true is executed here. Whatever is inside this curly bracket is going to execute if it's true. And whatever is in the else after the next set of curly brackets is the false one. Because the computer reads top to bottom, it needs those delimiters. So, you are used to the UML diagram. Now you can see what is actually in code. So I'm going to have a list here. I'm going to call this logical operator. Let's do it like this. So the equals. Okay, so the assignment operator is the equal sign, right? But when you're comparing things, so is the comparing equals, or just the equals as comparison, is two equal signs. You know, the greater and is this symbol, the greater or equal and is that, less than, I hate when people use the word than. It's like, man, it's so, it didn't pass English and Composition 1. Then it's tense of time, than is comparison. And not equal is that, exclamation mark and the equal sign. So actually we're not, if you just learn that the word not is simply that exclamation mark. Is that how you spell no, obviously not. Is that how you spell opposite or two S?
One S.
Okay. That's good. Alright. So the assignment operator doesn't have an opposite, so we'll just close that. So the equals as a comparison. This comparison with two R's. One S. Can I do a spell check like this? Doesn't seem like this, right? One S. Very good. So the opposite will be, of course, it's not equal, right? But what is the opposite of greater than?
Less than.
No. What is it?
Less than.
No.
Not greater.
Less than or equal to.
Yeah, it's less or. The opposite is less or equal,
Oh.
right? Otherwise, you leave one in limbo. So then this one is less than. And this one is greater or equal. This is greater, and this will be equal, and this is not applicable either. So that's when you're comparing two things, right? So in our example, I mean, this is in the book anyways. And you read the chapters at home anyways, right? So I'm just reviewing what you read. So I'm going to do an if statement here. So if your age, oops, my bad. is greater or equal than 65, then we can say system.out.println, you can retire. Else, there. So, I was going to retire when I turned 30, but I couldn't. So, divorce happened. I got to keep working. So now, if I run this program, let's say I am 70 years old. Program tells me I can retire. And if I say I am 20, keep working. So what the computer does is evaluation here. And if it's true, executes the code here, from here to here. And whatever is in the else part is skips over. Now, if the age is less than 20, then skips the true part, goes to the else portion, and executes whatever's the else. So I can put some comments and else. And there. And main in class. So when you turn into homework on the top, I want you to tell me something about this homework. So I can write comments like this, and I can make multiple comments with like this, right? But the next line is not a comment. If I want to do a paragraph, what I can do is use this / and then the star, and then it closes with a //. Anything in between is just free text. So I can say who you are, author. You put a date, February 30th, right? 2018, whatever. And then description, and I want you to tell me what is this project about. Okay? All your programs, you have to have that. And you will notice in your rubrics that I take a lot of points lack of documentation, and that's how you document. Okay? So, go back here. Another thing I would like you to do is your organization inside a method. So inside a method, I want to organize things with comments, of course. And let's get a different green. That's better green. So I want a section where you declare all your variables. So I want it to call variable declaration. Oops. Run it. Sorry. you write some code there for declare all your variables. And then I want you to do user input, stuff that you ask the user. And then you do all your stuff there. And then if there's any calculations involved, you write them here. And then user output. They like you display the answers or whatever. So if you have these 4 sections in that order, you won't screw up that much. So in our example here, all I want you to do is type it. Variable declaration, right? And there's your 2 variables I declare. You gotta be clean in your work. So then is the user input, right? And here we have some calculations. And then we have user output. Okay. All you have to do is put those comments. And what I'm trying to do is forge a habit on you. Question? All right, so try to run this program. So, integer is a primitive type, right? Scanner was not. It's an object, right? And we use the, well, I just use keyword here. And to actually use it, we had to use this keyword new, right? That's what we have in our program. So, but in your age, we didn't say new int because it's primitive, right? We know how much memory we have. So I could say your age equals 10 and it's fine. I don't need to use the new int because it's a primitive. You only use new in objects. But what if I ask your name? Everybody's name length is different, right? So string is what we use for text. And the string, do you think is a primitive or is an object? So how many characters do you think, or how many bits do you need to represent the Poland's president's name? Like 20 hyphens and whatever, right? Yeah, so it's going to be more than 64, right? So the string changes all the time, right? So what do you think string is? Is a primitive or an object? An object, right? So if you would notice in Java, all the objects have the first letter capital and all primitives are lowercase. So now I can say your address, your home address or something, right? So when you declare an object, is only going to allocate a pointer, right? So this is 1064. Oh, and the keyboard I forgot here, so it's 128. So let's put your keyboard here first. Sorry, keyboard here. So this is 1028, and this is, I'm sorry, 128. This is 1064. So, and then I did keyboard new. And what that did, it allocated this chunk of memory, right? Oops. And then in the keyboard, allocates, writes down the address. But in your address right now is pointing nowhere, right? It's a no pointer. But then something curious happens. I can say, well, based on what I told you, before I can use your address, I will need this new keyword, right? To allocate. But still, I don't know how many characters you're gonna need. The maximum number of characters is 2 to this 16, which is 65,000 characters. 500 and something, I don't know what it is. It's 2 to the 16, whatever that number is. But the funny part is, a string behaves like a primitive type. So I can write directly there, 1, 2, 3, Main Street, whatever. So what Java does, it sees, oh, this is a string, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and whatever, however many characters I need. And it's gonna come here. It's gonna allocate that. It's gonna say 1, 2, 3, Main Street, Miami. And let's say arbitrarily I'm gonna pick an address here. It's gonna be an address 512. So here I'm gonna change this to address. So I don't need to use the new keyword declaration. And if I change the address again later, let's say I change it to 1 Penn Avenue or something, whatever you want to call it. So what's going to happen, Java's going to put it somewhere here. And let's say this is address, I don't know, 1000 or 2000. 2024, let's say. whatever, just pick a number. So it's just gonna change it here, the address. So when he does that, it's still there in memory, right? But it's no longer accessible. So what Java is gonna do is gonna say, hey, this address, I'm gonna flag it as, I can reuse it for something else later. Write it over. So string is a object type, but it behaves as a primitive. Or you can use it as if it were primitive. But in the back end, it actually works as an object, and that's built in the Java SDK. It was built by design since the beginning. Somebody's having fun then. So, questions there? So what if I want to print double quotes inside the string? Yeah.
So you're saying that it's kind of like your phone saves like your passwords and stuff, like with the question mark. I'm just trying to understand it.
Oh no, this question mark, all it did was like a flag saying I'm not using this memory address anymore.
Oh, you're not using it?
Well, here goes here, right? Your address is 123 Main Street, right? So I went here, and that's what the address is pointing to. But then I changed it to another address. So it's another text. So the text that was here in memory is no longer accessible. It didn't actually write over it.
Okay.
It just grabs another one. But what if there was something on top and the new text is longer? So it can't be cut. It has to be all a contiguous amount. So it just grabs the next one and then it flags this one. You can use it for something else that fits there.
Okay. So
We're going to talk about later something called garbage collector and how it really manages the memory.
Okay.
But right now, all you have to know is flag as reusable memory. It doesn't go clean it. It doesn't put a bunch of zeros. It's still there.
But you could go over it, you can't go over it.
Now you don't have access to it. There's no way for me to access address 1512. Because the string, your address, is pointing to 2024, keywords 1192, and your age is 1000. So this chunk of address is no longer accessible. So if I don't clean it up, then it's a memory leak because it's trapped there and nobody can see it. But Java managed that for me. If you were using C++ or C, you have to clean it up. Anyways, so what I was gonna say, I lost my train of thought. So the string is text, and we delimit text using double quotes, right? But what if I want to print double quotes? How do I tell, hey, this is not the end of the string, I want you to print double quotes? How do you think I can do this? So if I want to print double quotes, like let's say I want to put double quotes there, I want to print those there. But then the computer is going to say, this is the end of the string, and what is this? You're confusing me. So in order to print double quotes inside a string, you put backslash, and then the double quotes. You know what that's called? This backslash. It's not from Guns N' Roses. This slash is called escape. Here. But what if I want to print a backslash? So the escape characters they always have a backslash and double quotes, right? Backslash, then it's just double backslash. If you want to use a tab, you can use a T. If you want to print a new line, and so all those one string here is going to break down in 2 lines or 3 lines, however many new lines you write there. R is carriage return, and B is a backspace. Space. Like if you were to backspace in your keyboard, that's how I would print it. And I think I'm missing 2, but I can't remember which ones. We don't use them that often. There might be this. I'm not sure. Single quotes. I don't think you need it. But anyways, so if in my example I want to print your age in double quotes, do it like this. And if I print this out, so if I put 65, see, now I print double quotes there. So what if I put a backslash right in front of the "you can retire" there? That doesn't give me an error, so I type here, and I type 70, and it says "you can retire," because it took the N here as escape character for a new line. What if I put in the T and in the R? See what it looks like. The T made a tab and the R make a carriage return. And if I want to print backslash, if I just do it like this, it's going to tell me there's no backslash A. That's why it doesn't recognize it. But if I put 2 backslashes, I print 1 backslash. And what do we need backslashes? You know, when you look for a file, like if you notice here, file is C drive, programs file, and they're at backslashes. So it needs those backslashes there. If it was a Mac, if it were a Mac, then it will be /. But Windows uses backslashes as delimiters for your directories. Any other questions? Real good? All right. So if you look in Blackboard,